Alright, we're back at the title screen because you can select the DLC separately. The thing that changes is that the person who reads the book is now Alucard.
Yep.
Hi. This book is shite. I can barely read the words on it.
What the fuck am I reading?
There aren't any pictures at all.
You stole my joke.
Bashiri, how can you steal the joke if you haven't said it?
Because somebody else was talking.
Well, they said it first, so in a way, you kind of stole it from them.
This DLC is a prequel. It's set immediately before the events of the game start up. So right before Dracula wakes up from his sleep.
What the fuck did I do? Why are you looking at me like that?
Dwibs. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I actually had to activate subs separately for this one.
Still a better close-up than ones in a David Cage game.
Yeah.
True.
Ooh, Gabriel, you've seen better days. We're just listening to bits from the flashback that we adjust, seeing the previous part anyway, so we're good to go for the time being.
But Satan will think you dead. Centuries will pass, and his acolytes will start to prepare for his return. At the appropriate time.
Okay, I will say this, as I mentioned, one of the missed opportunities of this DLC was not showing how Alucard came across all this stuff, and how he properly came to the conclusion that, wait, maybe I should try rehabilitating my dad instead of trying to kill him.
It's done.
So, Dracula will take a while to actually awaken, a few hours, which leaves us a bit of time.
Long for Zobek to feel his presence and send his lieutenant.
Who are you talking to?
The isolation has left a number on poor Trevor.
Yeah, that would explain
There are no subtitles in this.
No, I had to activate them separately because it counts as a separate video game in itself.
Oh, hey, Marie. So yeah, it turns out Marie actually was there.
She's here. ... No.
Even in Dracula's mind, weirdly enough.
He will be trapped in the castle forever.
So, Marie, what was all that bluster about you having to go to the afterlife if you can just come back this easily to go talk to your son about this?
Is Marie?
In fact, Marie, why didn't you tell Trevor about all this stuff?
Yeah.
Maybe warn him about what would happen.
So, let me get...
Also, we have seen with stuff like the blood that objects and people can actually traverse between the two realms easily. So again, this Marie is basically just another one of the positive, bits inside Dracula's mind.
Wait, did he blow her up?
And we're at the horn section specifically.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's where we need to start.
Because somebody stole Dracula's weapons, and somehow it's within his mind that they're hidden. Go on, Pedro.
No, I think Teo was about to say something.
So, Alucard plays a bit differently than his father. Instead of having a whip, he has the Strozzi sword, the Crisegrim, and the devs actually put it, the difference to a good use, actually. But before that, I think, I'm gonna first turn off the subs. There we go.
Thank you.
That's another a bit nasty thing for this game. It auto saves constantly. You have no control over your save file. So if you want to save, be sure and save different copies. You have to do it manually from, say, the PS3 system.
And I can imagine sorry, go on.
No, go on. I'll read the entries in a bit.
I can imagine Alucard doing this in universe. I'm going to turn the subtitles on this book.
Alright, now I think, I'm about to... Yeah, there we go. The Heart of a Wolf. When Dracula gave his blood after taking his life in a brutal fight, Trevor began a radical metamorphosis that lasted 3 decades. When he awoke, the corrupt inheritance of his father had taken over every inch of his being, giving supernatural powers that cost him his humanity. Since then, he has been fighting against the darkness, regenerating his wounds with the blood of his enemies, and swearing to use his curse to defend mankind until the end of his days. And he became a furry, I guess.
Yeah, again, now I do like this DLC, but like I mentioned, go on.
Using the tip of a vampire killer led by his father in Carmina's heart and the remains of the other two swords, Alucard forged Crisegrim, an extremely lethal weapon molded in the likeness of its owner, retaining all the power of the originals in its alloy. From the vampire killer, it retains the ability to punish his peers, paralyzing them in a state of infinite agony. From Glacium and Igneous, the elemental swords from the underworld, it inherits the icy ability to absorb life and the burning intensity of flames, capable of augmenting any armor. When the cold ends of its barrier so required, the broadsword unleashes all of the energy of these weapons, enabling to give new meaning to the act of severing limbs. And now we're seeing the other two swords. Glacium was the name of a graceful magical rapier that took the lives of thousands of Brotherhood soldiers before being destroyed by one of their paladins. There is no record of his first owner, and even less is known about the master blacksmith who forged it, only that it was associated with a terrible curse that fell upon all those who laid a hand on it. Like the icy finger of death itself, the blade drained the vitality from its enemies and injected into the body of his bearer, making him practically invincible in battle. It was an unmatched power that led its owners to suffer terrible deaths, painful losses, and drove its pure survivors mad under its influence. Today,
also the Elder One.
Basically. Today, its essence is hidden in the metal that makes up the Crisegrim, essentially. The other is Igneous. In time before the arrival of Rose of Shadow, an unscrupulous general managed to make a deal with the Demon King Igneous. In it, he offered to fulfill a known wish for the creature in exchange for the key to the entire castle he went to conquer. The key was none other than an enormous broadsword with an eternal flame capable of consuming any material it hit against. With it, its owner was able to conquer 100 territories and terrorize the rest of 3 countries until the demon returned to collect on his debt. The infernal creature broke the seal that held the agreement closed, and inside he read, "That which is gained by fire must be destroyed by fire." The general enraged brandished the magical sword, devastating everything in his way until all of his cities were reduced to ashes and his weapon shattered into pieces. The fragments that could be recovered were mixed with the steel of the Crisegrim, and still today light up its blade with the intensity of hell. So it's an excuse of the game to give you the same power as Dracula, the ice one that absorbs that heals damage, and the flame one that instead is against armor, just in a sword format. But go on.
Basically, it's just the game's way of saying Alucard focuses on swords, but he has all these different elemental swords which will come in handy.
And again, it's a more streamlined way. But Alucard can transform into a bat, even though it's a bit situational. The Curse of Blood means an entire compendium of mysteries for those who have lived long enough to study it. From what little is known, it has been determined that with time it tends to mutate to adapt to the needs of its carrier, offering new and twisted abilities in which to ensure survival. In the case of Alucard, who lacks the wings common to other members of his species, the blood has improved his power to dominate vermin to the point of being able to take their shape temporarily. With his skill, the son of Dracula can divide himself into hundreds of bands to reach distant places in less than a heartbeat of his victims. Again, it's basically just an excuse for you to teleport into ledges that are very distant like this. Now, a thing that is actually known that the developers didn't mention is that they use this DLC as an excuse to cheekily showcase a bit some mechanics that they wanted to implement in the main game but couldn't put because maybe they couldn't work on a large scale, or they did not have enough time to playtest them effectively. So they just relegated them in a more abridged version to Alucard for this occasion, just to it kind of like similar to say a dev's room where you see all the stuff that they could not put in the main game. It's not technically cut content because again it was stuff that wasn't even meant to be on to be put on Dracula or had story significance. It's just a way to also differentiate Alucard a bit, especially because it has a smaller environment to toy around with this.
I will say this, that the bat stream is way better than the mist cloud that Dracula has in the main game.
Anyway, you wanted to ask Pedro?
No, I wanted to follow up on what Jova was saying earlier. Marie at this point is basically the alone equivalent of this game. Like, seriously.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Marie. I'm sure you were a nice woman and all, but there were so many tragedies you could have prevented if it was this easy for you to come back.
Please tell me there's a scene where she says, "I'm sorry," twice in the span of 10 seconds.
Sadly, no.
I'm sorry, Gabriel. It's hard to explain. No, fuck that. Explain that shit
sorry.
right now.
I'm sorry. Slaps. I'm sorry. Dramatic Spanish.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay. No, that kind of writing. That's the kind of writing that does nothing but irritate the audience. Like, you have the one kid that knows all the information that can make sense of the plot, and the moment she's asked of it, she immediately goes, "I'm sorry, it's hard to explain." No, fuck off, writer.
Okay. I get why she played it a bit coy in the first game. Didn't excuse it, but at least she had something of a reason. Oh, you want to read this, too?
Go ahead, Jova.
The members of my division were conducting reconnaissance outside of the castle, preparing for the assault when we were caught up in a terrible snowstorm. Fearing that we would be trapped with time against us, we decided to split up. After a treacherous journey, I went for the side way of the mountain, followed it to a circular anteroom with a strange device in the center and an enormous metal door. I pushed it and stabbed it with my sword with all my might. The tremendous cold is frozen its hinges, making it an impassive giant that laughed at my insistence. I will finish this report, rest a bit, and return to my comrades. I'm sure the proud ledger will, of course, welcome me back with warm welcome, open arms. Just why I'm frozen to the wall.
Yeah, he was frozen today.
You were saying, Jova?
It's like, okay, I could maybe get why Marie played it coy. That said, though, she was like, well, now I have to go, reside in the great beyond, go to the afterlife and all that. But nothing was, apparently it's just that easy for her to come back and say, hey, Trevor, my son, shame that you're a vampire now, but I'm here to help you because it turns out my husband's weapons are
Again,
missing.
this Marie is the one that resides inside Dracula psyche and everything.
I mean...
It's not the original one. Remember also what Dracula says when he actually meets her inside the castle. You're not real. And she doesn't deny it.
Oh, sure.
That is the... Well, okay. Sure, she doesn't deny it, but she doesn't confirm it either. It's
Okay,
like I
Jova,
mentioned...
I really don't understand, I don't think she needed to say that at point. Okay, sure, okay, she doesn't confirm it, but again, not denying it is pretty much a mission by definition, Jova.
Okay, here's the thing, too.
It's a bit an iffy bothering here and there. Like, again, Marie has had this history of never really telling the full...
It's not even a case where she's... no, don't worry. It's not even a case where she even puts an enigmatic statement and says something like, oh, I'm as real as you may think it is, or I will always be by your side anyway, you don't have to answer this question. No, she simply just ignores the statement. Not even ignores the statement, she doesn't actually give
when
it.
I get back, I'm going to give that cretin a piece of my mind. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah,
snakes,
no, he didn't.
The snakes have already taken the pieces.
One day I'm going to get that filthy animal.
It's, that's the thing, too. Okay, that's the thing, too. Okay, fine. We'll grant that. Okay, so she's not the real Marie. I already kind of went with that theory as well anyway. That's fine. That doesn't... I'm not talking about in terms of the writing. The fact that she constantly keeps showing up, and every time we ask her for help or for explanation, she always plays coy, like Jova said. It starts to the point where it just gets annoying.
If this is a part of Dracula's psyche, then shouldn't this one be trying to be helpful since she's part of his positive side?
Well, she is. She has actually told Alucard about the actuality, and Alucard has just said, don't worry, I know what to do. The end.
Mm-hmm.
And
My basic point...
I never found it clear that we were in Dracula's psyche at the start of this DLC chapter. Like, to me, it just looked like we were in the remains of the castle in modern times as opposed to in the psyche when we started off. So as far as I was concerned, that had to be the real Marie here. Again, it's like you and me did mention to you. There did need to be a balance of, maybe not spelling things out, but at the very least being more clear with things. Like, I mean, it's been our critique that throughout the game, the whole thing being Dracula's psyche wasn't explained the best until the last bit either. And I would agree that you don't need to spell stuff out completely, but I also do think that they didn't meet the balance good with explaining it well.
It's
that much well at all.
Let me help you. See, the thing is, okay.
Also, that texture flickering, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's true.
God. What the hell?
Let me put it this way: like, as a writer, there's only so much you can do to try the audience's patience. Eventually, they're just going to get tired of it if you keep teasing them. Like, obviously, the audience should, of course, exercise some patience and not immediately expect every single thing to get told to them in the first 5 minutes of the story. Of course not. But at the same time, the writer needs to also. It doesn't help if the writer keeps teasing the audience because it just gets the audience anxious, and it becomes hard to exercise patience. And that's why I have a problem with the pacing of the first Greatest Attorney game, because they keep teasing the answers, but they keep that second game.
Okay. So here's how I would have handled this writing-wise. Make it be that, yes, this does take us to the past of sorts. However, have it be that the castle is attached to Dracula to a point where his mind actually does affect things and whatnot. That way, it doesn't feel like this complex David Lynch plot, but we can also have the stuff with the castle being attached and like a yandere for Dracula without needing to confuse the audience here and there, because having it take place in the psyche is weird at some points and really makes you wonder, wait, was this stuff that happened at some point, or is it only happening in his head and this stuff had tragic beginnings, or what actually happened in the real world with counterparts here and there? I'm not going to say like, it's the worst example, but again, I do feel like there was room for improvement with this game. It's still a good game, but yeah, like the cracks, like it's like I said, the closer we get to the end, the more the cracks do start to show.
I am enjoying this game, but I will say that so far I do prefer the first one.
Again, it really does help that the first one was such a well-planned out bout here and there. With this game, you can definitely feel the desperation they have in trying to force everything in, because again,
Konami wasn't making things easier for
the
them.
franchise.
No.
Yeah, Konami was
Alright,
not making
new
things
power-up time. Timeless Vision, which allows you to... It's a bit weird. It technically... Oh, there you go. Centuries after finishing off Dracula, Alucard continued to recreate in his mind each one of the rooms in the castle he visited, trying to remember every wall, every door, and every statue, suspecting that one day it would be useful to him. He wasn't mistaken, as with the return of his father, the castle too rose up again from the rubble. Now he is the only one who, like his father, has the necessary link to return the splendor of every corner of the fortress, projecting his memories and making the damage he retains of them tangible. Yeah, apparently this is not like time reversal or something, but it allows you to see what an object or an archway looked like in the past, meaning that allows you in this case to push away the rumble for a limited time in order for you to actually pass through them. It's very, very weird. Sorry, they got fucked up a bit. Oh, that looks like a new type of attraction that the toy maker built.
Roll up. Come inside the sweet tooth ride.
Oh, the voice sword.
If your name's not down, you're not coming in.
Basically.
The grind is closed.
Now that's just mean.
Well, obviously Alucard can just, bat cloud over that.
Or, well, okay, not necessarily bad clouding, but something else.
Well, I guess we can't pay the toll to cross it now, can we?
Now that means it's free to cross.
That has a face only a mother could love.
Well, there is something we can do. Turn into a wolf. Again, Alucard's a furry anyway.
Alucard, you can literally just
it is said that as soon as a vampire is born, every detail involved in that instant places a permanent mark on nature of a new creature. Trevor was converted by his mother one night under a full moon. How convenient. And he was strongly affected by its wild influence. Since then, every night when the moon is full, Alucard awakens the ability to project his spirit in wolf of a white wolf and travel through the world without physical limitations. Many travelers have told story of how, in times of need, an enormous white wolf came to them to guide to them, in times of need again.
So what, is Alucard like one of those vampires that werewolves would actually like?
I guess. Yes, Pedro?
You know, Zach, I really like those movies where people turn into animals.
Movie.
I was referencing Deadly Premonition, Dej.
Specifically the Lady Hawk reference from that game.
I also really like that movie in general. But yeah, the gist about the wolf is that you can basically... Alucard will stand still for that. The wolf can perform long jumps, and when you return from that transformation, Alucard actually gets teleported to that location. We think that it's a useful tool for platforming.
Cool as that is, Ali, why not just use your bat cloud thing to fly over it?
Shut up.
Again,
cool.
Again, Alucard doesn't have the actual wings. He can only use that weird teleport contextual move.
Why don't Jova? Same reason why Shadow doesn't use his roller skates to fly.
Wait, what?
Did he ever use those to fly? And most he used them to
in the
hover.
opening.
Hold on. Ed, and most he used those to hover, but we never did see him actually fly with those.
Okay, I forgot. Does he use those to perform a high jump to trespass into, the Eggman's base in Sonic 06?
Possibly.
In the CG cutscene?
Possibly. The air shoes are part of the reason that he's able to keep up with Sonic.
Also,
as well.
Just for mentioning, I couldn't manage to find it to capture it properly on recording. Unfortunate mistake. But you can actually potentially spy two hunchbacks that are actually, sawing away again the bell of the tower. Because again, some things don't change, and we even get a trophy for that. That's cute. Anyway, This diary basically just tells about this guy who entered the toy maker funhouse, and of course he couldn't really get out.
He tried.
Oh my god, did he try?
Oh.
But there you go, just jumping from this point to this point, we can enter into that statue's ear, and arrive from the place the other creatures entered. Which, while transitioning from one room to another, allows you to perform another minigame. Again, the Toymaker was really fond of these.
Basically, the Toy Maker.
There you go, use the wolf form in order to bypass these particular obstacles. And if you manage to arrive at the end unscathed, you get a prize.
See if you can win the prize, Alucard. Oh, there you go.
Thank you. It's mostly in the form of one of the side weapons that you need.
You've won a guy trying to do a Joker impression.
Alright, next scroll, Dweebs, you can take this one.
Okay. Alright. Safe at last. I'm not quite sure how I managed to get out of the last passageway alive. Could it be that this new lightweight armor I'm wearing has brought me luck? This room actually looks like a ballroom. I can't really see what's in the middle of the room from here. Perhaps a modern musical device to liven up the evenings, but it seems to be in bad shape. If I was skilled enough to repair it, I wish you were here, my love, to dance with you again. Damn war. And damn shield. I pulled it off one of the statues, but I doubt it's worth taking with me because I don't know what it would be of use against the traps. I'm going to rest for a moment to think about my next move and try to heal my wounds. I think I was bit by one of those snakes and haven't got much ointment left. But I'll survive, and I'll return home to be with you, my love. Oh, wait a minute. That snake was poison.
Hey, did I mention that I have a loved one back home waiting for me?
Okay, so that's the moral of the story. If you ever write one of those messages, do not mention you have a loved one. It's not going to end well for you.
This is also a hint for what Alucard is supposed to do in this place. Is essentially collect a shield from the ground, like this, and actually use it to open some of the closed doors that are here, because using the time vision power, you can actually repair this particular trapdoor, which uses a sewing blade. Interesting device.
Of course.
But
Aha!
we just
So
pick the
basically-
shield up.
So basically, if we get hit by that, by that laser, dark laser disc, we get sent to the Shadow Realm. I get you.
Yes. And if we position the shield here, or
Dark
even
energy
whatever
dispenser.
place,
Yeah.
No, it was rainbow. It was rainbow colors.
so it was the Rude Sandstorm, or maybe a Keegan.
To add to what you were saying, Dwebs, the only thing that
There we go.
To add
Go
what
on,
you
Dwebs.
to add what you were saying, Dwebs, the only thing we have missing is one of these notes of a guy saying, "It's okay if I just need to survive this one more day, and then I can finally retire. One more day before retirement."
Where did that originate from?
Actually,
Well,
that's
it
a
was
good
kind of a-
question.
It was kind of a cliche of old movies in regards. So
Okay, now you have kind of a small race against time when it comes to reaching that door, and you need to use the wolf form as a result, because of course. But since there are some enemies in the meantime, I think I'm gonna show in the meantime the more combat, because again, you can also use the dark energy disc of the room to your advantage. You even get a trophy if you manage to kill enough enemies with it. There we go. Alucard's special moves, aside from the basic combos, all rely on timing. For example, that one that I performed before, it's a stab where Alucard concentrates and it releases at the right time to maximize the effectiveness of the stab.
So basically, Alucard inserts shards from other swords to essentially make his sword have the essence of that sword.
Basically. Also, to mention the small Easter egg that, what I did mention, in the previous part, to expand upon it, the Crusade Grim is actually, okay, I don't remember if it's the most powerful, but it's at least one of the most powerful weapons you can find in Symphony of the Night, which was also incorporating some of the other mainline Castlevania games. But it's extremely rare to find. It's a very rare drop from one of the enemies in the late game. So the fact that he managed to become so iconic and making the de facto signature weapon of Alucard is actually interesting. The fact that the devs wanted to reference that. There we go. Yeah, in order, since it's a short DLC, instead of having to collect a set of gems, each box actually does provide automatically a small power-up for your health or magical powers. I mean, it makes sense. Alright, check. No, nothing. Right, it's another box.
That's someone's clock going off in the background.
It's the timer when you use the vision power up. You have a small limited time, as it's mentioned in the countdown on your left. And as it approaches, the zero, you do get the clock ticking. All right, let's use the button again. And this time, let's try to race.
Can you attack with those?
No, it's only used for actual movement advantage.
Yeah, it would suck if enemies were attacking.
Alright, the next puzzle room, survive.
Simple, right?
Survive.
I will survive. I will survive.
Ow. No, that didn't went well.
Failure.
Yeah, that was unfortunate timing, Jova.
Thankfully, it just means we don't get the prize at the end.
Tia, you should have just put Smash Brothers failure.
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 To be honest, okay, yes. In which instant is there like a particular spirit match where you're forced to fight against the assist trophy of Alucard and you actually have
Yes.
to bring him out?
Several ones, actually, yes.
Okay. All right. Here's some decree. These 3 jailers got 3 separate keys, and you have to track each one of them and defeat them. So,
And of course, the castle is helping them hide.
yeah, it's literally the dark essence of the castle that is, preventing your master to finish the job. Anyway, tune in next time where we actually start searching for these people. See ya.
So, yeah.